Welcome to this video about the notorious case of Jack the Ripper. The mere mention of this elusive figure sends shivers down the spine, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and unsolved crimes. In this video we delve deep into the shadows of the past, exploring the haunting narrative of Jack the Ripper and the enigma that continues to captivate minds to this day. Before we embark on this thrilling exploration, don't forget to show your support by giving this video a like, subscribing to our channel for more historical mysteries, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. We invite you to become part of the discussion, so leave your theories, questions, and comments below to join the conversation about Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper is the name given to a serial killer who mutilated and murdered women in the second half of 1888 in London. The name originates from a letter sent to the police during the time of the murders, claiming to be the killer. The writer had knowledge of details that only the murderer could know. 5 murders were committed within walking distance of each other, with the victims severely mutilated. These are attributed to the serial killer Jack the Ripper. The victims have become known as the canonical 5. Additionally, in Whitechapel from 1888 to 1891, 5 and possibly 6 more women were murdered, and it is not entirely clear whether they were killed by the same perpetrator. The reason for the murders has never been established. There are various theories, but none of them are widely accepted. The myth surrounding the murders is a result of a combination of historical research, conspiracy theories, and folkloric fabrications. The number and names of Jack the Ripper's victims are a subject of debate, but experts generally agree that Jack murdered the following 5 prostitutes in London's East End. The first case is that of Mary Ann Nichols, born on August 26, 1845, and murdered on August 31, 1888, in Bexrow, Whitechapel. Around 2:30 in the morning, Mary Ann Polly Nichols left a lodging house because she had no money for accommodation. She was last seen around 3:30 at the corner of Osborne Street and Whitechapel Road. Over an hour later, her body was found in Bexrow, a secluded alley in Whitechapel, without anyone noticing anything unusual in the meantime. The coroner reported that Nichols' throat had been cut to the vertebrae and her abdomen was also stabbed several times. All wounds were inflicted with the same weapon, a fairly sharp knife at least 20 centimeters long that was used with great force. The location and direction of the injuries suggested they were inflicted by a left-handed person. The woman in the next case is N.E. Chapman, born in September 1841, and murdered on September 8, 1888. In the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street, Whitechapel. It was a true horror scene. Her abdomen was slashed open, and her uterus was expertly removed. The next victim of Jack the Ripper was Elizabeth Stride. She was born in Sweden on November 27, 1843, and murdered on September 30, 1888, in Defield's Yard, near Berner Street. She was found with her throat cut, and she is the only one not seriously mutilated. The next victim is Catherine Eddowes, born on April 14, 1842, and murdered on September 30, 1888, in Mitre Square in the city. Her uterus was missing and the left kidney was missing as well. To make it even worse, flaps were cut in both cheeks. The next victim of Jack the Ripper is Mary Jane Kelly, reportedly born in Ireland around 1863, and murdered on November 9, 1888 in her rented single room at 13 Miller's Court, off Dorset Street. She suffered severe mutilations. Her entire abdomen was stripped of organs, and her heart was missing. Since Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes were murdered on the same night, this quickly became known as the double event. And that night, a blood-stained apron was also found next to a wall with a chalk inscription: "The Jews are the men that will not be blamed for nothing." This is referred to as the Golston Street graffito. Given the existing tensions and suspicions towards the Jews, the chalk was quickly removed from the wall. Another theory suggests that Jews does not refer to Jews but to Jubela, Jubelo, and Jubileum. These 3 individuals allegedly murdered Hiram Abiff, a significant figure in Freemasonry, suggesting that the murders were part of a Masonic rite. Some researchers argue that Elizabeth Stride and Mary Jane Kelly do not belong on the list of 5. Stride was barely mutilated and, if witnesses are to be believed, was attacked in public. While Kelly was younger than the other victims and she was attacked indoors, and her mutilations were more severe than those of the others, the removal of the victims' body parts was skillfully executed, leading to theories suggesting that Jack the Ripper might have been a surgeon or butcher. Several individuals have been identified as potential Jack the Ripper suspects, and here are some theories about who Jack the Ripper could be. Some theories point towards the British royal family, suggesting that Prince Albert Victor may have fathered a child with a prostitute. To prevent an international scandal, prominent members of the British court are believed to have eliminated or had witnesses eliminated. One name mentioned in this conspiracy theory is that of Sir William Gull, the personal physician to Queen Victoria. Gull was a proficient doctor and member of the British Freemasonry, and is said to have been involved in occult rituals derived from the Masonic movement. The 5 crime scenes on the map of London form the 5 points of a pentagram, a symbol that is common in Freemasonry. Other Freemasons are also mentioned, including Lord Randolph Churchill, who was the father of Winston Churchill. The theory involving Churchill associates the murders with the escapades of Prince Albert Victor and interprets the killings as ritualistic slaughters carried out by a Freemason. Although suspects were sought in all layers of society, the inspector in charge of the investigation into the Whitechapel murders, Inspector Frederick Aberline, declared that he and his colleague had learned a lot about the case and the perpetrator, but that he, in accordance with his promise, would not comment on the murders. However, one does not need to look for the killer in the lower classes of British society. The killer would belong to the elite, according to Aberline, who took the imposed silence seriously. Over a century after the murders, writer Patricia Cornwell claimed in the book A Portrait of a Killer that the painter Walter Sickert could possibly be Jack the Ripper. Sickert gave painting lessons to Prince Albert Victor. Cornwell relies on research and DNA tests she conducted on letters from both Jack the Ripper and Sickert. She also studied 211 letters from the Ripper and is almost certain that she has solved the mystery of the Ripper. In her book, she recounts the quest she undertook to prove her case. In 2014, British businessman Russell Edwards claimed to be able to prove that the perpetrator was the Polish Jew Aaron Kosminski. This man had been high on the list of potential Ripper identifications for years, but evidence could never be provided. With newer techniques, DNA was found on a scarf that was found next to the body of Catherine Eddowes. In addition to Eddowes' blood confirming that the scarf had been present at the crime scene, sperm was also found on the scarf. By comparing the DNA to DNA from Kosminski's descendants, Edwards concluded that the Polish immigrant must have been the perpetrator. Kosminski was 23 years old at the time of the murders, and he lived and worked as a barber in the neighborhood where all the murders took place. He died at the age of 53 in an institution from gangrene. Edwards' conclusion was immediately controversial. It is not possible to determine with 100% certainty that the scarf indeed belonged to Eddowes and where the scarf had been in the past 125 years. The test methods used were also insufficiently documented, according to critics. In October 2014, 4 experts in DNA analysis further discredited Edwards' theory. They found that molecular biologist Jari Louhelainen had made a crucial mistake in analyzing the DNA found on the Eddowes scarf. This meant that no connection could be established between Kosminski and Eddowes, other than those in the theories that had been circulating for decades. As we conclude our exploration into the mysteries of Jack the Ripper, I hope you found this journey through history intriguing. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on our future content, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell. Your support means a lot, and it helps us bring you more fascinating stories and investigations. Thanks for joining us, and until the next video.